Happy Monday.
Thanks for listening to Carlie's Couch episode. I don't know what this is going to be, but another episode in the 50s.
I'm about to say one of these episodes.
One of them episodes. Yeah, something.
And I'm wearing my Arthur hoodie today, so it's going to be a good day.
Oh, God. Macaroni and cheese hoodie over here. Yeah, we got to repeat outfits now. D-Lolo, we need you.
We really do.
Sponsor us. Get us fitted up, please, for these episodes. But enough about us. We hope you guys are doing well. We appreciate you guys listening. We were supposed to read some reviews, but I didn't look them up, so maybe we will.
One up right
okay.
Now. Pulling them up right now.
Carlie's pulling up some reviews because we want you to know how much people like us. Carlie, take it away. I should have started some more, huh?
Exactly. She's not being a great. You got to watch the video. She's dancing. Okay. Hey.
Okay,
here we go.
I think she's found it. And now for a review from one of our loyal, great fans. I hope it's good because I sized it up all good.
So there's two.
Okay.
So the first one is, you ladies allow me to think things through I wouldn't necessarily. I'm a Virgo, and life to me is very black and white, which on a daily I try to challenge myself on. This podcast, the conversations, are everything. I cried after the traditions episode, thinking of all the things I grew up learning and socialized learning as well. This is big for me with all relationships where assumptions, expectations, and traditions exist. We all have expectations, and being able to communicate and break them is key. Thank you, ladies. I'll continue to listen and maybe one day join your couch and conversation. Peace and love, Nas.
Who?
Nas or Nas, N-A-S.
Okay, thanks, Nas. We appreciate that. And that is touching that people can listen to something and really feel it and really apply that and think about how that, is a part of their life as well. So I think that's a really good review.
Yeah, no, that was really sweet. And we have one more that I'll read. Has it been an entire year already? Oh, my God.
Wait, how many stars we getting on these, by the way?
5.
What's all the information, please? Thank you.
Hey, 5 stars. Was that really a question?
I'm making sure.
Because if they leaving good reviews, if they leaving stuff like that, I hope y'all leave them 5 stars.
Sometimes people are like, 3, everything's great. And you're like, okay.
So 5 stars. And has it been an entire year already? Oh, my God. Fell in love with the first episode, and y'all have never disappointed. Keep up the good work. Jim Brat 30.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. We want to encourage everybody to leave 5 stars. Even if you don't feel like taking a few more minutes to write, that's fine. The 5 stars help. Write a review if you would like, and we will be happy to read them. We look at them. We appreciate and enjoy those. And for all of you who like the podcast, share it. We want you to share the links. And it doesn't have to be put it all over your social media and stuff like that, but share it with a friend. Text a friend if it's a topic that you think they could benefit from, or text it to anybody that you know if you want them to listen as well. So we appreciate that. And going along kind of with that last testimonial, it's not a testimonial, a review, where she was like, oh, I've been listening since the first episode. Our first one was just us introducing ourselves kind of to you guys and telling you why we started this and what we're kind of looking to do with this podcast with Carlie's Couch. And so our next couple of episodes are kind of in the same vein. Carlie's kind of going to run this episode, I guess. I'll let you kind of introduce it.
Yeah, I am. Real quick, I want to share. So I'm not that person that meets someone who's like, oh, by the way, I have a podcast. But I do mention it towards the end of the conversation if it presents itself. But in sharing particular episodes, I met someone at a coffee shop and they were talking to me about what they do and where they are in life. And I was like, yo, there's an episode of my podcast I really feel like you should listen to. And so I refer them to Preston's episode because it was a man, he's in his mid-30s, kind of talking about some of the same things, at this transition point. And so it's special even when, it just means something. If someone is having a anxiety attack or kind of feeling stressed out or down, maybe you send them the 4 techniques on mindfulness episode. So thinking very thoughtfully about also sending stuff whenever you think it might resonate with someone. And he replied and really enjoyed the episode. So shout out to P, Hero P. But
P. that episode changed me a lot too. Or I literally did some actionable steps after that for sure. So I feel like as we go on with the episodes, I really do it start applying them more.
Yeah, and I really also do, but learning from them. But from Preston's episode particularly, I was thinking about, my idealized version of myself and like, are the things that I'm doing in alignment? Because I talk a lot about alignment, but what does that actually mean? And what does that look like? And are my steps that I'm taking every day getting me there? Which leads me into my first question.
First question about what? You're not going to, okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I'm interviewing Alexia this
Right. I was like, you got to intro this thing.
I mean, I will. But I got excited because it flowed genuinely, organically together. Okay. So you talk a lot about goal setting and goal planning, and you write your goals often. That's something you used to do. You recently started again. How far in advance do you plan out your goals? Like when you're thinking through goal setting.
How far in advance do I plan them?
Yeah,
so do you mean like this is for how long I want it to happen?
Yeah.
Right now, I am focused on my 12-month goals, and now that we're in October, there are 11 months left. So at the top of my paper, when I write my goals every day, sometimes I would say like in 12 months or by this time next year. And now I just started saying like in 11 months or by next September, because September is like kind of my benchmark for all of them that I'm looking at right now.
Okay. In like goal setting and planning for your life, do you go past a year for goals? Like, do you think that far out, or is a year pretty much where you stay?
Well, I think a year is where I'm staying as far as what I'm thinking about day to day. As I think it's important to not think too lofty or not focus on the loftiness, because that has to break down to, okay, if I want this in 10 years, what do I need? Where do I need to be in the next couple? And so forth. What do I need to do this month? What do I need to be doing weekly to kind of get to that space? And so I have ideas for that, but it doesn't have to be so cut and dry, because these are the things I need to get in order right now. Like my stuff is like stuff I need to get in order right now, like my, certain credit, certain healthcare, certain, things like that.
Yeah.
And as I'm moving in those things, I'm kind of even getting more clear about, okay, well, what would the next 12 months look like, or the next 5 years or whatever?
Yeah, no, I love that. I think sometimes people can get into goal setting and get so attached to like the dream and the vision at the end that it doesn't actually break down to the smaller pieces and the actionable steps.
And even with mine, it's not like the super day-to-day things that I'm writing down. Like, it's still, this is the goal. Like, it's not something I can just do tomorrow. But you know what I mean? Even with that, I have to break them down daily. So it's like, why break down a 20-year goal when it's easy to break down what I need, those year goals that I need to do?
Yeah. But I completely agreed, especially with the actionable steps. But so you do actually think about some of those like loftier, like long-term goals when planning these short-term ones?
Yeah, I just kind of think about, well, where will this lead? Like even when people ask me about my business and where do I want it to be, it's like, well, I don't know. Do I want to have a big building and, a bunch of offices, or do I want it to be boutique? Do I want to just go speak? Do I want to make enough? Like, really, I just want to sell it. You know what I mean? Like, I either want to sell it or keep it small, I think. And so it's just kind of, well, what does that look like? And as I'm focusing on the systems of what I need to do to have consistent, my business and sales and all this stuff now, I kind of will get clearer on that.
No, I like that. Are there anything like that has stayed? Because you're a person, from my understanding, from what you're talking about, who kind of like, has an idea of where you're going and you're working towards it, but you're also open if it leads to different paths. So are there certain things, like certain goals or certain milestones in your life that you are working towards that haven't shifted, that you've been motivated by or are working, like thinking about?
Long-term ones?
Like longer term than like a year, 5 years?
Honestly, not really. I always wrestle with, like, should I have even 5 years? Like, should I know 5 years exactly? I mean, and not exactly, but even, should I have an idea of what the 5 years? And I don't, because it doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't know. Like, anything that I'm thinking about that matters is something that I just need to be doing now, I guess. So anything that's longer than those foundational things right now, I don't necessarily have any big desire that I can't just do now, if that makes sense. Like there's like, I have like certain like bucket list type stuff or whatever, like things that I just want to do because I want to do them or I'm interested in them, but it's not necessarily like, oh, in 10 years I can do that. Like I could do it next week if I wanted to. Like, I mean, am my fucking check's clear? But, but like, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing that's like, I feel like I have to wait a long time to get to. Yeah. And only stuff like with like maybe business or, getting a house or whatever like that, even those, like I don't have, like I'm not thinking about, I need to have a house by 5 years or 10 years or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. I
don't think I've ever had a long plan, ever.
Really?
I've always just kind of known, like, I kind of know I'm interested in this field or this thing. I know I want to go to grad school, but I'm not sure why. Go to grad school. Like stuff, it just happens as I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, it's synchronicity. It
and I go along with my interest, honestly. So
when you were little, what did you want to be? Or do you remember?
Yeah, I know exactly. So my the first thing
FBI,
I wanted to do was be a marine biologist. Because my family is Bahamian and like we'd always be out there and I was at the beach and stuff like that. And I used to like love animals or fake love animals. And like I studied them. I'd read books about animals all the time because I was always begging my parents to get pets and they never would like let us get anything. I finally could get an aquarium, but I wanted to be a marine biologist just because I like the ocean. I thought that'd be cool. I don't remember what I maybe saw, but I thought that would be really cool. From there, I wanted to be, I knew I wanted to do something with like culture. So I wanted to be an ambassador or work in the foreign service. Before I kind of really knew what the foreign service was, I was thinking like I wanted to just kind of like work in other countries, like travel.
Yeah.
With college, I was thinking I wanted to go to college in like Puerto Rico or somewhere else. Like I was trying to get away at first, but so it was really that. It was like marine biology, and then that moved to kind of like government / like, I don't know really what to call that, but like some stuff around culture and like stuff like that.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you talked a little bit about like, the traditional careers, like marine biology, government, which is really interesting.
Is that traditional, marine biology?
Well, like, I mean, traditional in the sense, like, they're careers that exist. They're not, like, creative. They're not, like, out of the box. Like, singing, actors, not creating a studio, anything. Did you ever have anything like that you were inspired by or like to do when you were little?
Like an art-based or creative?
Any type of creative?
No, I don't necessarily think so.
Would you consider yourself a creative now?
I would, but one of my clients, she actually... when we were talking about the projects and things that we're doing, she's like, yeah, you're good because you're a creative, but you're not so far off on the creative side to where like you can still have the business acumen and still talk to people. You know how like the super creatives are. And so I think I'm in a good space where I can recognize good creativity or recognize good art, or I know what things should look like. I have a great eye for like a photo, video, things like that.
Creative director.
But I don't have to like actually... do it or whatever. But I can speak to both the people who don't understand anything from that world, and I can understand the people who create the stuff from that world. So I can be a good in the middle type person. But I consider myself creative, I guess.
Yeah, I would say you are too. But I think that's a great line to be able to toe on both sides.
Yeah, like if there was a scale, then I'd kind of be on that side, but like not all the way. Because then I'll have like somebody else also last week was like, oh, you're very left-brained. I think that's the right one. They were like, you're very left brain and very logical and stuff. And I was like, what's the other side? And all those things she said, I'm like, well, I'm that too, so it just kind of depends on the situation.
Yeah. And I think, duality, I think we all have both, but it just depends on what areas.
Or actually, I think she was talking about logical versus emotional, not necessarily creative, but that's where the creativity, a lot of that kind of stems from. It's only like when I'm feeling some kind of way, that's when I do my own art type stuff.
Oh, interesting. And it also flows into another one of my questions. Look at that life. So what do you do? So you just mentioned like art, like a little bit whenever you feel in a type of way, like what do you do whenever you're struggling or whenever you're having dark moments? Like how do you process and or deal with those things?
When I'm having dark moments, I try to take a nap. And look, I'm trying to think about yesterday. What did I do? I'll try to just take like a nap, and I'll try to like meditate and stuff. I say try because a lot of times or lately, like when I have been extra stressed or feeling like down or, like trying to work through something, it's like I can't even take the nap either. Like I'll be laying there and it's like, I'll scroll social media and it's like, all right, too much time's going by. I'm not even sleeping or doing anything. So it's like, just get the hell up. But there's some time of like just being blah, and I try to tell myself, or I do tell myself to not put that in other places. So like I'm not gonna like text somebody just because I'm feeling moody. Like I'm not gonna text people and be like, why didn't you call me today? You know what I mean? Like you gotta try not to do that. And not necessarily like that is projecting, but like you want some comfort, but you also like don't want that much comfort. So I kind of just tend to stay to myself. And then typically it's like hormonal stuff. So I just kind of bounce out of it in a couple of days. Like as I've gotten older, my hormones are really like kind of trash. So I'm still kind of trying to learn like, you know, how dealing with it and all of that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Like I literally know like it can switch off like in a couple of days where, you know, where I may be feeling like super insecure or, you know, all those things for like seemingly no reason. Because the problem part, like when there's issues or problems, like that part, it only phases me because I'm in a different space, like mentally, but it like they're not really problems. Like it's just getting figured out. I'm working on it. Boom, boom, boom. I know what's going to happen. It may be, you know, not optimal or something going on, but like that's not like an end all be all, but it's just me, the way I'm like feeling about it at the time.
Yeah.
And then maybe a couple of days later, depending on wherever we are in the month, you know, it's like it snaps off and nothing bothers me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I feel that. I'm just snapping out of it too. So I'm like, ooh, thank God. But have you always been able to not put like that into other areas, like not letting that darkness or that struggle or whatever your hormones are doing, like seep into like work or relationship or friendships?
No, I mean, all the time. You're going to be more irritable. Like if I'm moody, I'm more irritable with people. And I'm, like I said, I kind of, especially if you're in like a relationship, I would like expect more or like want more or whatever. But when you think about it, like nothing's really different, but you just want it like more. And it's, you know, you might start bothering people. And when you start coming across as like needy with friends or needy in a relationship or needy with people, that always kind of like pushes them away. Even, I mean, and it may be like, you know, right now I do need a little extra. Like, and now I could just say that and leave it and let, you know, people do what they do.
Yeah.
But even having to say that or saying that sometimes it's like, ugh. Like if somebody texted me was like, oh, I'm feeling needy right now, I'd be like, I would like you, if people are like latching onto you and stuff like that, you do feel like stop being so clingy.
Yeah.
And so I do recognize that I don't have to do all that reaching out. Like I should just chill. You know what I mean? Like just chill.
And then so what does that chilling look like? Like if you're having those days and you don't send that like, oh, I'm needy text, like how do you chill and like pour into yourself so you're not looking for that external?
What I'm looking for, I do. Man, like in the last few days, like, man, I kind of do. Like, maybe I do need to start dating in LA because, like, I feel like I need a companion or, you know what I mean? Like, just somebody around to, like, comfort, whatever. And then I'll start thinking, like, well, why do I need somebody to comfort me? And not to say that it's not wrong to have somebody there, right? Like, you still can want companionship, want that comfort. But when you need stuff too much, it's like you're blocking yourself. And so I took care of it myself, like, and I didn't like masturbating and shit. That's not what I'm talking about in this case, but like, I took care of it myself, and like, I was just nice to myself. Like you know what I mean? Like I just take care of myself. I'm like, okay, Lex, do your work. Like I need to do my work. I need to do what I'm doing because of whatever other issues that are adding on to my moodiness. You know, I can get through that if I actually do what I'm supposed to do instead of sitting around or procrastinating or whatever. So it's just action, and it's kind of just reframing it for like, all right, well, what do I need to be doing to make myself okay?
I love that. I feel like for me, a lot of that stuff has came with like life experience and also like age. Like as I get older, I have less fucks to give. And so it just becomes a little bit easier.
But I think it does suck though, because like you want other people to just know, and you know, you want people to like hit you and be like, hey, I hope you have a great day on the days you want it. And not from any randoms, because like that'll mess your day up even more. Like I got a text yesterday. And sorry, this is random now, but like I got a text yesterday. I went outside for 1 second because I had to hand off a camera lens to somebody. And I told my friend who sent them over to borrow it, I was like, yo, don't get my like apartment number. You know what I mean? Just tell them the building, I'll come downstairs. I went downstairs, gave this person a camera, came back up to my house. 2 seconds later, I got a text from some number I don't even have saved. And it was like, hey, sexy, I swear I just saw you. And I was like, dang. I was like, I don't even know who this is. And then I looked into it because at first I didn't even open it because I was like, I don't want to leave it read. And I looked at it and it was like, hey, this is, and it had their name. What you doing tonight? And that was like in June. I was like, well, there's nothing I can say now because I'm going to be like, to be honest, I don't really know who this is. And I couldn't find any way around asking without it being weird. And I already knew if I didn't answer that first one, like that's probably somebody, you know what I mean? When you just ran into me, you're like, yeah, here's my number, you know, whatever. And that's not somebody I was interested in. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I forgot why I was even telling that story. But why was I telling that story? Something about getting out of the house or something. I don't remember. People know where I live. It was something. Now I have to
we were talking about ways to, I was talking about ways to pour back into yourself, and I actually don't know how we got here.
Yeah, I don't remember how we got there. Yeah. I don't remember how we got there.
We're talking about you're talking about wanting a companion and like external validation. And so you were like, well, why do I really need that?
No, it wasn't. That's not where.
Dang,
I
really trying,
forgot where
y'all.
I was trying to go back around in a circle to. But if I listen to it, then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I meant. So yeah, just enjoy that random story, I guess.
Shout out to whoever texts Alexia.
I mean, I know their name, but I'm like, okay, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, no idea. So I was talking about how I think a lot of this stuff becomes easier as we get older and we have more life experience. And so I want to see, are there any like lessons that you've learned like about yourself or like life lessons in your like 20s, 30s that have just like helped you kind of learn these things or get to the next level or relax? And so I had a question.
Like what area? Or?
Anything. Like for me, it's like, yeah. Well, I like broad questions.
In my 20s, though, I don't remember any lessons like specifically from my 20s. I think I was a little bit I was emotionally late bloomer because in my 20s, I was probably kind of like a teenager in how I wanted to communicate my feelings and talk to people and things like that. In my 30s, what was that? Late 20s, early 30s was like kind of like relationship wise and self-worth, all that kind of stuff was a little bit more of a light bulb. It mostly is because of like relationships that I learned a lot of things about myself and what I need to be doing for myself and things like just not going along with something just because, or, really being able to walk away from things, stuff like that. Business-wise, though, and around work and productivity, I would say that maybe kind of the same time, late 20s, 30 is a lot of, all right, like in different areas of work and what I'm doing, it's, okay, are you really trying to do this or not? It's a lot of time, I feel like, I don't want to say wasted, but a lot of time where it's like thinking about a decision or playing around, tiptoeing, hokey poking with like the decisions. And then finally, maybe in the last few years, like really putting them into action and putting them into place and seeing how much quickly things move when I actually am taking action, when I actually am properly organized and things like that. So I didn't really list out lessons, but I mean, kind of like my everything, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I feel like adulthood, like as we get older, is a constant process of unlearning. Like we kind of talked about in the traditions episode, like unlearning these societal norms and all of these expectations.
Yeah, I have
like,
a lot of that. Yeah.
Like even that we have in relationships. And so you want to share, or would you share, I guess not do you want to because I'm asking, but would you share like, one of the biggest lessons that you've unlearned recently or that you're in the process of unlearning? Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I talked about this already on a podcast, though. I think I've told you. But very recently, I have learned or unlearned the habit of working all the time and understanding that I don't need to always be working to be productive. And the less I am working all the time, the more I'm spending my work time more focused and getting more done, if that makes sense. And I actually let my chill time be my chill time and don't just mix it all, like everything's just a big blur. And I've been a lot more like peaceful and like, okay. And, it's not like, oh, I still have 50,000 things to do today. And like, I don't care. I'm just going to sleep type thing. And kind of letting things work out that way. Yeah. So I feel like lately I've been a lot more productive. And then I saw the other day too, a question where it's, are you smart? Are you smart or are you working? Are you a hard worker? And it's like, if you have to choose one, right? And so it's, things don't have to be hard. Like you don't have to be working all the time for things to move. and really identifying, because that's kind of procrastination. That's kind of just wanting to feel like you're doing something, but you're not doing nothing. Like, how many years has it been like spinning in a wheel, to where some things I'm just doing now, I'm either paying for shortcuts I've taken and they're catching up to me now, or I'm in a place where if I actually want to get off a wheel of being busy and busyness, then there are certain things that I had to do. So that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily working less, but that there's certain things that have to get done with intent, and that the time I'm spending working is just much more like focused on what I need to actually be doing.
No, I love that. I feel like a lot of times people work, and myself included, I've had to unlearn. It's like you're working because it makes you feel valuable and it makes you feel like you're doing something. But then the issue we get caught up with in that is like equating our worth to what we do and not in who we are. And our value is inherent.
Yeah, because I mean, when people say like, who are you? It's like, well, you know what I mean? Like, everybody kind of says like what they do and what they
I
like
hate that.
and all that.
And we were just talking about that the other day. I hate that you meet someone like, hi, what's your name? What do you do? And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. So everybody's like, oh wow. I remember I went back home to Oklahoma and somebody asked me what I did, and I like gave them my elevator pitch that I give everybody out here when they ask, well, what do you do? And they're like, wow, you sound like you rehearsed that. And I'm like, because everybody asks.
But I mean, people should want to know what you do, I guess. But it's just.
But that's not the most of me, I think, is the thing that like is like that's, and in LA, I feel like a lot of people get caught up in like, what do you do? And like, that's kind of your worth and where they value you and like where they're trying to get. And maybe that's just people everywhere, but I just have my point of reference as LA right now, but it's like not the most of me. I'm so much more than that. What are some, or what is one, or what are some common misconceptions people have about you that you've noticed?
That's kind of easy, but I can't say 100% misconceptions, because they could be, right? Depending on, you know what I mean? Like,
depending on who you are in the day.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say misconceptions, I would say negative stuff would be maybe that they expect me to be mean, or they expect me to be stuck up, or whatever that kind of means. They expect me to... I don't know what the opposite of this is, but like not be a like go with the flow person. Like, I'm a very like roll with the punches person. Like, I sleep on airport floors and like, do crazy stuff and to get by and figure things out or whatever. And like be adventurous, like go to another city and take the bus back the next day and just all kind of stuff like that. But other things are on the positive side. Like when people like they're trying to compliment me or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's not really all that. But people having a misconception that maybe like that I'm at a different level in my company or business, or that, oh man, I'm so like on everything, which nobody's probably all the way on. So, I could take that and say, okay, I appreciate that you see that. And I maybe am, of course, if you're comparing that to other people or whatever. But I would say those few things. I'm trying to think of anything else. Misconceptions. I think that's all I got right now.
Okay. What are you excited about right now?
I am excited about the organization of my business and the people that I'm hiring and the processes that I'm creating right now.
I like that. What is the last thing that you've done for yourself? Like not for anybody else, just for you.
Everything. Let me think
good.
about yesterday.
That's a good answer. And yesterday's also a good answer.
What have I done for myself? I mean, as small as like reading, meditating, that's kind of lame though. I can't think of anything like big or like super different. But my day, for the most part, my days are me doing what I want to do, but that's like regular kind of stuff there, I think.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything like totally different right now.
Okay. That's cool. You mentioned your days are, and I love that you're like, my days are kind of what I want to do anyways. No matter how grand or how simple, like it is exactly what I want to do. So what does an ideal day look like for you? No other context, very broad. What is an ideal
though?
Yeah. Like your ideal, like
my ideal date isn't a thing that I could say because it wouldn't be the same. Like I wouldn't want my days to all be the same at all. So overall, an ideal day for me is a day where I wasn't pulled a lot of directions. So like, you know, days you have a lot of meetings where you're like here. So, that's wouldn't be my ideal day. My ideal day is a day that I have spent adequate time for myself and doing like my own thing, that I've been productive. When I'm most productive is when I'm in my best mood. And maybe just like having the downtime or I don't want to say like traveling and all that stuff because that's like obvious things, but some kind of exploration as a part of my day, good food as a part of my day. I'm very simple. And like going back to the misconceptions, like I'm just very simple. Like it's not like I have, I'm like really high maintenance or super needy, and not to confuse not being high maintenance with the fact that I don't have things that I for sure want and need. But you know what I mean? Like I'm not like in a fur coat, like Pimp C out here, like trying to do the most every day. So for me, it's a day that I feel grounded and I feel like, I don't know, not stressed out, I guess.
No, I mean, there's no wrong answer. That's why I ask broad questions, because it's so interesting how our minds like interpret different things. And I think it's cool because sometimes we're really similar on things and sometimes we're so different. And that's why I ask the broad questions. So I asked about what an ideal day was. Let me look at my little trusty notes here. Because actually, I was a little bit nervous to do this because I haven't ever like interviewed anybody. And Lex is like the queen of good questions. And so I wanted to make sure.
Well, not that, but when you interview somebody, it's really about like, all right, who is this for? So thinking about things the audience would care about, things that would help the audience. And then like the way you're asking them is just, asking the question. So, I mean, I think you're doing good.
Thanks.
I don't know like how I would tell somebody how to do an interview per se.
Yeah, that's why it's so funny. I text Whitey this morning and I was just like, because I'm
a superstar. So I'm like, I got it. Interview Alexia today.
Oh my God. Bruh, it's funny though, because my little bro just moved out here. Shout out today. And I guess he reposted something about the podcast and all his little friends was like texting, asking about you. And I was like, y'all can keep shooting, but
how old are they?
They're like 23, 24.
Oh yeah, I can't do that till I'm like 48, still single. Then I'll be like, whatever. hit me in 15.
There you go. So y'all hear her? Hit her in 15. Hit up.
Damn, I'm gonna be 50. They're gonna love that shit.
Auntie vibes for real. That's when you can actually be a cougar. What age is appropriate for a cougar?
I think 40s. When you're in your 40s with 20s.
Okay. Yeah, because 30 is not. That's not a big enough gap.
Well, I mean, that's doing a lot, but it's not cougar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. She said it's doing a lot.
Yeah, you're still doing too much. Like, you're still doing too much. Because there are some, the younger guys that I dealt with, like, they were in a space where they had money and doing things. So it's like they weren't, like, bums, but there's still certain differences. For me, it was really mean, actually. I think I was actually more on that level still than them not being on my level.
Yeah.
And it made me feel good. That's a big thing that I learned, to go back to your lesson, since it came up to me just now, is that I would always like go after these younger guys, and by go after, not like I was like stalking them or anything, not like they didn't want to be with me, but like I would always end up like being attracted to and talking to younger guys and later I realized what it was is that I wanted to be a part of like their like coming up story and like a part of their history, and they will never forget me. Like when I look back, like all my exes like started businesses and buying, selling houses, all these kind of things. And I'm like, like, okay, guys, good for you. And because it made me feel like I had my life together, because I was maybe right out of college or a couple years out of college, and maybe he was still like finishing college or, whatever. It made me feel like, okay, like I'm in a good space. But let somebody 2 years older than me talk to me, and they're at a real job. And by real, I say real because like even when I first started this, it really was like super janky, but you know what I mean? Like, people who really have their stuff together. Now I'm like, I don't feel worthy to like, I don't feel like I'm in the right space. Like I might be cute, but like if you're really trying to make a real relationship or really put your guard down and be vulnerable and be like, I don't have my shit together. Like that's weird. And it's easier for me to be me with somebody who also doesn't have their shit together. You know what I mean? And so that's why I would do that. And I realized that, and it made me check myself and like, all right, well, what do I need to either work on or be okay on? in that like I'll never be in a good relationship if I can't put my guard down or be vulnerable or like really talk about real stuff, or if it's like I feel like I have to pretend I'm a thing or try to be a thing. But yeah, I mean, I still haven't dated anybody older than me, but it ain't like no college kids or nothing though either. So
yeah, she's not out here half cougaring yet. Gotta wait till the 40s. So how's that going? You talked about like all these lessons you learn in relationships and being vulnerable and being emotionally available. Like, how is that going for you?
Good.
Okay.
I don't know how to answer that. It's going good. Like I'm much more open. But when I'm talking to people, they still can see that I'm very guarded because I'm not necessarily talking to everybody. But the people who are close to me, if I ask them, but yeah, you are sometimes and sometimes you're not. So
yeah, I say that as a friend. Like, it's interesting because I think that might be a misconception, is that you are like a truth and
or
and
that
a
I'm open is a misconception that I'm that open. If people think that, because people who've only known me maybe for like a couple years or a year may think that I'm more outgoing and more open. And I say think maybe because I am, but they don't have like basis
like
to
a
be
point
like,
of
oh,
reference.
yeah. And everybody else is like, they still see kind of me as that, or they know that journey more. So I don't think I'll get the full credit for being open because they know all of the rest. If that makes sense. Even though I am more open and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of growth. It's like, people don't know you from back then, so they can't see how much you've grown and how much you've changed. I think about that
Which
a
is
lot.
fine, I think.
I mean, yeah, it is. And it's just like, people meet you when they're supposed to meet you at whatever point in your life that they're supposed to meet you at. But I'm like, man, if y'all had known me back then, like, I thank God, because sometimes I wasn't ready for some of these friendships and some of these like adult conversations. Because like, have we been friends and you question me not even question me, but ask questions the way that you do regularly that are just great questions that help dig down to the core of things. Like when I was in my early 20s, I'd have been mad offended. But it's because I hadn't dealt with the things or hadn't actually thought through my answers. It actually has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm talking to people, I feel like I should still gauge like kind of how you always say, like, do we really want to talk about what we need to be doing, or do we want to have fluff? You know what I mean? Which is okay. Like, if you just kind of want to chat and fluff it, that's fine. Like, I don't have to like go deep just because you were like, hey, how's your day? You know what I mean? But for some people and for people like yourself who I know care about growth, then it's like I'm more so. So I don't even really do that with everybody. But like, if I know you're that kind of person too, where if I like mention something or like, oh, yo, like this podcast was about like, get your shit together, you probably could listen to it. Like, instead of getting offended, it's, maybe you probably would actually listen to it. So
yeah. No, I appreciate it.
That's kind of like what my gauge is how much is somebody receptive, because it doesn't fucking matter if I try to talk to you. And I don't know everything either. I just like to question it and have the conversation about it, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, like you ask some good ass questions, and like some of my friends, like they want to come on the podcast, be like, "Man, Lex be asking them questions."
I don't even ask anything to anybody. No. It's regular stuff.
I know, but it's just in such a direct way, and I think that's also it. Is like you're asking the question, but it's whatever perceptions and things people put on it and put on you. Like, well, what is she trying to ask by this question, or what does she mean by that?
Yeah.
And
that's
it's like
true.
it actually has nothing to do with you. Just ask the question.
And I'm just like that with people who are more direct with me. So I have friends who are like on the scale again, like who are way more direct than me, and I'm up here. And then people who are way super like passive or like kind of less like just gonna be like asking questions and we'll talk about those things. So even I am like that too with other people.
Yeah,
I'll get quickly like offended and like you know what I mean, or shut down, or I'll feel like if I'm excited about something, I'm like, okay, well, how much is it gonna be? And I'm like, and now you know what I mean, like, and I'll be like, oh, like, all right. So, but I don't like that, but then I kind of like it because it does allow me to focus on the real stuff that matters. Like,
yeah,
like I need to get to the money. Like, it doesn't matter about like, oh yeah, it's cool, I get to do this and speak here and do this. Like, okay, cool. Like, how is that really helping you? And like really digging into it. So I have those people in my life too who are more challenging with me the same way people think that I can be with them.
Yeah, and I love that. I think that's dope. What is one thing about yourself that you're really proud of?
I am really proud of my ability to problem solve and never be stopped by anything. Everybody's life is different. There's some people who like lost their parents, lost their job, lost this, lost that, and everything, was really hard for them. I don't necessarily think that my life was like so hard in that sense. But man, there's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of back to the unlearning, like when you're growing up in a certain like socioeconomic level, like unlearning like what matters and how to move and what to care about and learning about money and learning about this and learning about that. And so as I have to deal with obstacles, I'm really proud of how I'm able to like quickly move through them. Are you looking for a specific like event or thing that I was proud of? Okay.
No.
Then I would say like that's one thing like about myself that I'm proud of, like rolling with the punches and like being able to problem solve well.
No, and you can answer the questions however you want to. That's like, and I love that. I think that's really dope. What is one thing that you love about yourself? Something different. I will add that caveat.
Should that be a hard question? Not that it's hard, but like I'm trying to think of something like a specific thing. One thing I love about myself is my, how do you explain this? One thing I love about myself is my awareness of self now and my ability to like step outside of myself and see myself and talk to myself and tell myself, girl, like, you know what I mean? Like, I do love that. But I kind of love and hate it because like sometimes I'm like, I want to turn it off. But I love that I'm okay being aware about what's happening and okay not being set. Like, I'm okay challenging myself and moving up and moving through and growing in different areas.
I love that. And I like the self-awareness part about you and that you share it also, like with us and like little journeys and things that you're learning. What's one area of growth that you haven't talked about? So maybe outside of finances that you're working on in your life
right now?
Yep.
Shoot, I wish I had my phone with me because I have like a list of things that actually I was brainstorming the other day. One thing you said I'm working on?
Like an area of growth. Yeah. Something you're working on.
An area of growth that I'm working on now is outside of what we've said is being a better listener and interrupting less, I think. But that kind of connects those other things because honestly, I think, I'm not sure yet until everything's like straight, but I feel like a lot of times like our irritability or our ability to handle people and talk to people and like not be annoyed and all those kind of things really is stemming back to like my own other thing. Like it may be because I'm like struggling with this other thing or some other stuff going on, right? Yeah. And then it kind of like manifests where it's hard to care about like, all right, girl, you're talking to me about this, but it's like, okay, cool. But I'm really have other things. Like my brain is like very heavy about other things. I'm working on other things or something else happening, whatever. And so even saying that, I'm like, all right, maybe that's part of like the goals and the getting my shit together that helps me be more light, if that makes sense. Helps me be in a lighter place to enjoy people's company or be a little bit more present with other people. But I'm very flighty, like, and I already said this, like my friends make fun of me because like, you know, I only have like a couple of seconds and I'm not listening or I'm already tuned out a little bit to think about the next thing. Yeah. Or even when people are talking to me, if they're getting into a story and they're not getting to the point, I'm one of those people who'll be like, and then this happened, right? And then that, oh yeah, and that. And it's like, just let them tell the story, right? But I want to get to the point, like get to the point. So I've been trying to work on that or I notice that. And that's things that I work on.
Yeah, and I think you're right because you're saying like it does tie into the other things. So a lot of times our greatest strengths are our greatest weaknesses, and it's like figuring out that balance and that line of those things.
And I think that's probably how I've always been because I remember my parents or my mom always telling me like, yeah, you used to always try to speak for your brothers, like as a kid, like
I could see that.
As the older daughter. And like if somebody asked my little brother something, I'd be like, yeah, he's 5. You know what I mean? Like I think I've always been kind of like that person. And it's weird. Like I'm either real quiet, and that's because I don't know you or haven't like registered you. But with my friends or with people, like I may be opposite and maybe I'm like more talkative. But yeah, like I'm always like trying to talk over.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. And that is funny. I can just see like imagine like all three. Like
and then the youngest one was like the quietest one. But I wasn't necessarily the loudest, but like I was bossy, I think.
Yeah, I could see that.
Do you think I'm bossy now though?
I don't think you're bossy. I think you're direct.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I'm a bossy
You're not
person.
bossy, but I could see you being bossy when you were little. Because I think this is a grown, you know what I mean? Like you've matured enough to not be bossy, but I think when you're little, especially because you have 2 little brothers, like come on.
Probably. I don't super remember, but I'm just going off what my parents said. Shout out Ambrose and Albertha.
Hey, shout out. Yo, the Clincys, they be on, man. So shout out to the Clincys. Funny. They be making cake and making
my
all
mom,
natural products.
when she came into town, she had a conference to go to in Utah. She came into town for a couple of days. She brought like some homemade salsa and some pickles she had pickled and all this stuff. And I was like, all right, Mom, thanks. So they're real like super make everything and like organic and all that.
Which is so dope. They're such an inspiration. And not to make it about me, but y'all know Lex has not introduced me to her mom yet. I mean, it's fine. It's only been a year.
Has. My friends came out the other day and they were like, dang, didn't your mom just come? We still ain't met her. And I'm like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? Be like, hey, everybody come over. But I don't know, maybe.
Eat some pickles and salsa.
But y'all gonna be mad because she gonna be the same like as me, kind of like she'll sit here and be chilling. Like she'll be nice, but she'll be like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. And we doing whatever we was doing. Like she ain't gonna be trying to have no conversations. Or like, you know, people sometimes like if I'm on the phone with somebody and your mom's right there, like, oh, tell your mom I said hello. If I'm like, yo, my mom needs me, like I gotta go tell your mom I said hello. I'm like, oh, okay. Like she doesn't know you. And like I will tell, if I told my mom, hey, Carlos said tell you hello. Who's Carlos? Like, and that's how I am too. Like, who's Carlos? Oh, okay. Like, who cares? I don't know them. So like, for what? You know? So they're kind of maybe similar. Like my mom's kind of similar, I think. And I think I'm just realizing that.
You never say, but you know, in that story, like you were talking about that, and I started laughing because I started thinking about Carla. And bruh, Carla's the opposite. You put her in a room, she gonna be talking to everybody about everything.
Who's Carla?
My mama.
Oh, I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Exactly, who is that? Making friends with everybody. Like come back. Like I left you in the car in the parking lot for 2 seconds, and you have 3 friends. What happened? I
mean, and she like my parents would be cool. Like if people were coming over, but I also never had people come over. Like I didn't do anything until I went to college. Like I didn't go to people's house. I didn't have people come over. I didn't hang out. I went to school and I came home.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But you didn't go to public school until high school?
No, I was in kindergarten through 5th grade, and then I went to 9th through the rest of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize.
It was just middle school that I was homeschooled.
So you had a gap.
6, 7, 8.
No, yeah. Middle school. Was it weird being homeschooled? I don't know. Weird, I guess that's
not for me because I like just chilling at home. Like, it's, you know what I mean? I'm the same person. It's like, now that I think about it, I never even thought about this before. My middle school years is like how I am right now. Like I'd wake up, look at my little paper. All right, what do I need to do today? Do those things, watch Reading Rainbow and shit, and be chilling until my brothers came home. Like that was what I did. And when I say I did used to hang out, like because we lived in an apartment complex, so like maybe other kids and stuff sometimes, but they were really like my brother's friends probably. I think I used to hang out more like with them and their friends. All of them were kind of like, most of them were guys, and they were like a little bit younger, like a couple years younger. So yeah, like I was chilling. Like I'm really good with chilling in my crib.
Yeah, I mean and shout out to Reading Rainbow also.
Yeah, shout out Lavore.
Yeah, I feel like that comes up
shout out
often.
Big homie.
Shout out.
Yeah, I used to love their shows. Like I could still watch that stuff. Like I love PBS, but I mean I'm a geek, so I don't know. I love that shit.
Same. I've always loved.
I think those shows were so good.
And you learn stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were enthralling content. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of shows from when I was little that I was like, but I really like the ones you can learn on. Anyways, circling back, we have a question. Well, do you have a shout out for today that you wanted to shout out?
Oh, I forgot all about that part. Yes, I do. But I just want to shout my friend out.
Okay.
I want to shout out my friend, Will Medley.
Hey.
And I say that because I'll circle back to why it's relevant right now. But when I moved to LA, like he was very helpful with me and like, helped me get settled in and figure out, areas to live and things to do here and introducing me, or not introducing me, but like connecting me to other A&T people and stuff like that, other friends. And one thing about Will that I noticed, like as we've been friends, is that he's one of those people, like if it's something that needs to be done, like he literally, like he's like an old man. He'll pick the phone up and be like, call the credit company or call like the internet people. This is happening right now. We need to do this, this, and this. And for me, I'm like a wait till whatever, you know what I mean? Like the last minute or till shit cut off or something, then ask questions. But, even yesterday I was telling him about some stuff I needed to do with my business, and he was like, oh, well, I did this. Like, all you have to do is go down there and do this and this and this. And I was like, okay, like, all right, I'm gonna go do it. And I don't know, sometimes it's just hard for me to just do stuff sometimes. I'm like, ugh, like, I just don't want to deal with it. But he was right. Like, I went and did what he was talking about today and got it done really quickly. And I was like, man, like, I texted him like, man, thanks for improving my life, because he's a person who really makes me take action, or makes me think to take action. So nothing like crazy that he did or anything, but like, I just appreciate him for being an action taker for sure.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I'm going to shout out Will too, because inspiration. Will got 11 jobs. See, I thought I had a lot of jobs. Will has a lot of jobs. He manages to go to the gym at least 2-3 times a day, consistent about his working out his dreams. He's consistent about helping his friends. So big shout out to Will.
Hashtag grind don't stop.
Yeah, I say exactly. And what is the other thing that he says?
Out of here.
Exactly.
I said that when I left the offices this morning from what he was telling me to do. I was like, out of here. And the guy was like, what? Like, peace.
So basically, keep posting your Instagram
See you
stories,
later.
Will. Exactly.
Not coming back. See you in 5 years for renewal.
Yeah.
I was like tripping.
And I'm about to take that same advice. So what she's talking about, and be doing that as I leave.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So shout out Will, man. Like, and we talk about a lot about how you really have to create your own stuff. So like, he's working to be an actor. He's been in a lot of commercials and things like that, always going to auditions and stuff like that. But it's like, yo, like, we still got to create our own stuff. And so, you know, he invests in himself. He has 1 billion lights that he buys and, you know, setups, takes his classes, does all these things. And it's like, yeah, like, you have to invest in yourself and you have to make things happen. You can't just sit around. So appreciate him for that.
Yeah, like, are you doing the things that you need to do today to get to where you want to be tomorrow? Like, are you doing those things? And if not, like, that's up to you. That's literally not up to anybody else. And he's, I think, a great example of that. Then we will end today with the question of the day. Miss Clincy.
Oh, yeah, after all those questions, shoot.
Yep, last one.
Okay.
I was going to say
maybe
21,
I'll do that too. Save one of my questions.
But more
make
like
that the question.
2,100 questions of the day. What is your superpower?
That's so funny because some of mine was similar questions than yours too. My superpower is, everything's what I've already said though. I think my superpower is connecting the dots between either the right people and ideas, people and concepts and people, like however, like anything. Like, I'm really good at connecting and seeing a bigger picture and helping myself or other people break down like to what's the next step.
Yeah, I would second that. I would second that as an outside source.
Oh, well, that's good then. Because, you know, sometimes you think stuff about yourself and everybody's like, nah.
Actually, this is awkward because of...
Yeah. So I would say that.
No, you're definitely great at getting down to that thing and helping people like figure out that next step and like what is actionable for today. So that was all I have for today. If y'all have any other questions for Lex, I don't know. Are you open to answering any other questions? Because that was a lot.
That would be cool if we did that this week. Maybe we do a thing where anybody can ask me a question on your story this week at Lex_Topia. Hit me with a story and ask a question, and I will answer it in the repost. Make sure you are not private so I can see it and share it.
Repost that hoe.
Yeah, but yeah, sure. Ask me questions all week. I got you.
Here we go. So
don't be asking me nothing wild. Cause,
yeah.
I mean, if you do, I'm just gonna ignore it. But don't be on a curious cat type stuff.
Yeah, don't be awkward. don't be on no creep shit.
How often do you fart? Like, okay.
Oh God.
Here's my Cash App if you want to hear.
That took an unexpected turn. However,
they didn't make it this far. They didn't listen this far.
Screenshot at Carlie's couch at Lex_Topia, CC Fierce on Instagram, Carlie Carpio on Twitter. Let Lex know if you have any questions for her. Have a good week.
Bye.